bit of a different video. I've had a couple of people requesting, can you make a layout with all your Thomas Wood stuff? And it's been on my list for a long time, and I finally got around to actually giving it a crack. And so what I was trying to do when I was creating this layout is use all of the pieces that Mattel has given us in all of their infinite wisdom in all these sets. And that include a lot of the play pieces, in inverted commas, obviously. Which is why you can see there's a lot of, I've used up all the track adapters that I can in order to construct this layout. And I must say, it's actually quite impressive when you look at it. As you can see, it takes up, the reason why I haven't done this is because these Thomas Wood engines are massive in terms of if you want to set up a big display. And what I realized very quickly is that the curve system in particular is incredibly limiting. The fact that each curve is 30 degrees means you can't create a quarter turn. There's no way to create a quarter turn in the layout, which means it's very hard to create like loops inside of other loops. So you end up creating these big, long, sprawling kind of shapes because you don't have the ability to create like, you know, an inner circle and an outer circle because the radiuses of those curves is just way too tight. So that is something which is, as I kind of thought would be the case, is definitely the case. You can see I had to do weird things like this to try and use all the curves up. You can see up here at the this kind of loop that goes around, there's some really weird stuff going on to try and use up all of those curves. Yeah, it was quite difficult to do that. Another thing I worked out is that the two adapters put together is just like a totally random length of track. Like there was nothing stopping Mattel from making each of those adapters half a straight track, but it's actually not half a straight track when you put it together. If you just have a look here, you can see my Captain America socks. You can see here that it's just the case that they're not even close to being the same. So what it means is that you can't use two of the track adapters in the place of a normal straight piece. No, that doesn't work. And it's really frustrating because it means it's really hard to actually utilize those pieces in any meaningful way. And I've managed to do it here in a couple of places, but essentially what you have to do is, if you're gonna make a loop, you have to put two of these in each side to make sure you're actually getting that kind of symmetry. The other thing, I guess, which is maybe, you can see all those with the engines in the box there. The other redeeming feature of this system is that there is a lot of play in the tracks. And what do I mean by that? I mean, as I kind of talked about, and I did at the time talk about it as a negative, that, oh, the tracks don't fit together very securely, but it means that there's a lot of room, even with the new design, to kind of bend the track, you know? And so I don't actually know if, you know, technically speaking, this is a legal track layout, in that I'm sure there's some curves which are bending a little bit too much or not bending enough. Who knows? But it does work in terms of everything connects up. So I think that is at least something which is good, that the kind of the garbageness of, to some extent, of the connection, even though it's meant to, like, it looks like it's going to be quite tight, means that you can kind of bend, if you don't have the angles 100% right, you can kind of bend things a little bit without actually breaking any of the pieces in order to create a layout that's actually kind of useful for you. But yeah, in summary, building with these is simple in that there's only one curve and one straight, but it's very difficult to try and make a sensical, coherent size train set, and it's also very difficult to make a compact train set just because of the fact the curves are so tight. Makes it really hard to do anything that's not very long and extended. Which, if you think about it, in a society where more and more children are going to be growing up in apartments, they're not going to have a playroom to put their train set across the floor. I think it's really important that you have a system of track which allows children to build fun and exciting compact sets. And this system does not allow you to build fun, exciting, compact sets. You can build loops that are very boring, or you can build long, huge, exciting sets that are ginormous. The last thing to think about is the actual cost of building a layout this size. I didn't want to think about it, but it would be getting into the $500, $600 range, I think, if you're paying full price for all these sets. You know, you've got $240 worth of the lift and load sets, because I've got two of those. The figure eight set was meant to be $100, so now we're talking about $340. You know, the Knapford is meant to be 60 by itself, so suddenly we're talking, you know, 400. Yeah, I think this is easily over 600 or 700 Australian dollars worth of track, which is just insane when you think about it. Like, this is wood and plastic, two of literally the cheapest materials on the planet, and that's how expensive this is, and it's not high quality. As I've already talked about, the track is low quality wood. The plastic is low quality plastic. This is not a premium, you know, building experience. It's no Lego. This is the you know, the Lepin of the construction blocks industry. This is no Lego. And I think that means that this is just outrageous. Like, there's no way a kid should be paying $600-700 to get this much track, because the track should be far more widely available. It should be a lot cheaper, and it should be a lot easier for you to get a decent amount of it without having to spend hundreds of dollars on these huge sets. And I think that's something that's important to think about when you're thinking about what Thomas Wood represents. So I don't know if Mattel watches this. I'm sure they don't. But if they do, I think you guys need to have a real hard think about this, and you wonder why Thomas Wood is dying. It's because this has taken me, 3 or 4 years to collect this much Thomas Wood track, in order to build a layout, which I know as a kid I would love, but, you know, is just probably too big for 90% of children who are going to be wanting to pick up some Thomas stuff. And I think that is because the track limitations and the cost mean that you're just never going to be able to build a compact and fun layout for everyone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's a bit interesting for you to see what's possible with Thomas Wood. I'd love to see your comments down below. Again, I'm really hoping to get a story video. I've got 2 Thomas Wood story videos kind of half scripted out that I just haven't had a chance to film yet. So hopefully they're going to come sometime in the relative near future. But otherwise, that's all I've got time for this video. I'm excited to hear your questions below. See you next time. This is XtremeTrainz.